Hey, welcome to Draft Academy. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to install Python onto your computer. And we're also going to install a text editor that we can use to write our Python programs in. So the first order of business is to actually install Python on your computer. So what we want to do is head over to our web browser, and you want to go over here to this page. It's just www.python.org/downloads. And on this page, there's going to be two buttons down here, and it's just going to say download Python 3.6.3, and at least that's the version that I have right now, or download Python 2.7.14. So here's the thing about Python. There's actually two major versions of Python that are in use currently. There's Python 2 and there's Python 3. So you can see over here, this is like 2.7.14. Basically any Python 2 version we would just refer to as like Python 2, and here's like the latest Python 3 version. And so there's these two versions that you can download, and the first thing we have to decide is which version do we want to download. And here's the basic difference. Python 2 is a legacy version of Python, which basically means that it's like an old version and it's not being like actively maintained or supported like officially by Python anymore. Python 3 is like the future of Python. It's like the newest version. It's the one that's getting actively maintained and supported. And so there's pros and cons to picking either one. A lot of people will say like Python 2 has been around longer, and so there's more like libraries. There's basically just more Python code written in Python 2. And so therefore, like there's a few more things that you can do in Python 2 than you can do in Python 3. But then again, Python 2 is not supported, and 5 or 10 years from now, probably no one's going to be using it. Python 3, like I said, is like the future of Python. It's the newest version. It's the one that is sort of being maintained going forward. So for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys Python 3. So we're going to want to download Python 3. Now, here's the thing. Like, if you learn Python 3 or you learn Python 2, the differences aren't very big. There are a few differences in like some syntax and just some, little things here and there. But if you learn Python 3, you'll be able to jump right in and code in Python 2 as well. Don't let anyone, tell you that you have to learn one or the other. We're going to learn Python 3 just because it's, I think, probably the best for a beginner to learn. And so that's the one that we want to download. So I'm just going to click download Python 3, and we're going to go ahead and download this version. And when that's done downloading, I'm just going to head down to my downloads folder. And you'll see here, we just have this file. I'm just gonna double click, and we get this like Python installer. So I'm just gonna click through here, and we'll be able to install Python 3 on our computer. All right, when that's done installing, we can just close out of this and we should be good to go. So now we have Python 3 installed on our computer. The next step is we need to choose a text editor. So we're going to be writing a bunch of code. So we're going to need some, environment or some program that we can write all that code in. And really, you can write Python in any text editor. You could write it in like Notepad or TextEdit. It doesn't really matter. But there are special text editors that are designed just for writing Python code. And these are called IDEs, and that stands for Integrated Development Environment. It's basically just a special environment where we can, run and execute our Python code, and it'll, basically like tell us how we're doing. So if we're, if we write something that's wrong or we have errors, it'll kind of point us in the right direction of what we need to do to fix that stuff. So in this course, we're going to be using an IDE, and one of my favorites and one of the most popular IDEs for Python is called PyCharm. So I'm over here on this website. It's called jetbrains.com/PyCharm. And this is the IDE that we're going to be using in this course. So I'm just going to come over here and click this big download now button. And we'll go ahead and download this PyCharm program. All right, so I'm getting this page over here. You can see there's two versions of PyCharm. One is a professional version, and that one's like paid, so you have to pay for it. But then there's this community version down here, and that's free and open source. So I'm just going to download this one. And this should have everything we need to get started using Python. All right, when that finishes downloading, I'm just gonna pull that up in my downloads folder. And again, we can just sort of run this guy. And I'm on a Mac, so I'm gonna have to drag it over to my applications folder. All right, so we now have PyCharm and we have Python 3 installed on our computer. So we're ready to start programming in Python. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to Draft Academy to be the first to know when we release new content. Also, we're always looking to improve, so if you have any constructive criticism or questions or anything, leave a comment below. Finally, if you're enjoying Draft Academy and you want to help us grow, head over to draftacademy.com/contribute and invest in our future.